Hello and welcome to another update video about XRP. The overall count hasn't changed. I've just made some slight adjustments to the micro level, which, as you know, happens all the time. We need to be ready that this count is changing on the micro level because it is not reliable. I explained why yesterday. It's just not clearly moving down in an impulsive way. So we're going to talk about the direct bearish path, which has been adjusted, and an alternative, more bullish path, but could still be bearish. And I'll tell you which levels need to hold for that. So the overall idea is still that in March here, a path to the downside has started in yellow, a 5-wave move to the downside that could take it to new lows below, and I have to go to the 4-hour chart now, below the June 22 lows. So you see it here, we had WXY structure to the upside, and only a 3-wave rally, topped in March. Since then, 5 waves down, 3 waves up, and now we're waiting for continuation to the downside. But it's not very reliable because it's not really following through too much to the downside, but it's also not impulsive to the upside. So as I said to you, it's probably tracking sideways a bit, and we will have to be ready for changing wave counts on the lower time frames. So the lower time frame count here is quite uncertain. It is quite messy. So sometimes it might be worth just zooming out a bit and focus on the bigger picture. And the larger time frame counts, which change less frequently and are a little bit more reliable. Okay, but this is just the range. As you know, in range markets, Elliott Wave doesn't necessarily give you a major edge. It will do so on smaller time frames, if they are more reliable, or on larger time frames if they get more reliable. But this is just a range here. So what we're doing, we're tracking potentials. We are looking for possible beginnings of an uptrend, but at the moment the trend is down. So what we can identify with Elliott Wave is how long or what does it take to break this downward trending structure that we get back into an uptrend. So as long as we are fulfilling those conditions for this downward trending structure, the focus can be on the downside. Elliott Wave also tells us that if certain levels break, all we have to do is to reset the B wave higher, because we haven't seen any impulse from down there. That means the B wave, the correction, would simply extend a bit higher, and we have an ideal target of around 73 cents because we can easily just extend the Y wave. So this is a W, X, and the Y wave is extended. No problem. It hasn't even maxed out what it can do. And because of the bigger picture, the context, this would be my view if XRP goes above the June high. But first of all, we are focusing here on the current primary count, which is that in June, XRP, did I say Ethereum? No, XRP. XRP topped at around 56.5 cents in a wave 2. The idea is we're now coming down in the third wave, but it's not typical third wave behavior. We're not really following through to the downside impulsively. So we have a problem here that we're dealing with a series of 1-2-1-2 setups, and they often break at some point. So it's tradable as long as it holds. And so far against this resistance area, the focus has been on the downside. So the trade would have been very successful, but we're getting to a point where I'm thinking, okay, we hit support. We didn't get a sustained break below support. So we have to expect at any point also a larger bounce. But as long as resistance, which is still relevant here, stays in place, as long as we don't go above 54.1 cent, I think the focus can still be further on the downside. Let's talk about it. So the idea is that XRP started a wave 1 to the downside, which completed on the 16th of June. We had a wave 2 pullback in a WXY structure, and we're now coming down in a third wave. But again, it's not typical third wave behavior. The best way I can count it at the moment is as a 1-2-1-2 setup, and we're now in a third wave. But this view has to change, and price might do that. If price gets above the wave 1 low, small wave 1 low, at 47.6 cents. At that point, it will get more likely that we're actually dealing with a larger bounce. And I showed it to you yesterday. This wave 2 could just extend a bit. Absolutely. This could simply be a flat structure. Wave 1 to the downside, A wave to the upside in 3 waves, an overshooting B wave to the downside, and then a C wave rally. Why is that possible? That's easily possible. That's why I told you the count can change. Because the wave 1, okay, A wave is just in 3 waves. That suggests the move down in a B wave can be very aggressive, can even overshoot to the downside if you have an A wave with 3 waves. It did that, and it's not clearly impulsive on the way down. It looks rather corrective and very choppy, and that's why this can easily be a B wave, even though it followed at the moment what we wanted it to do, right? But it still is very choppy, and it did not break and sustain below wave 1 support. So now, if it starts a C wave rally, it should do it now, and likelihood is it gets back into this resistance area in a C wave. I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. Even though the direct downward path here is also likely, but obviously we hit support, yeah. And I would not rule out a higher wave 2. It wouldn't be bullish necessarily. It would first of all just be part of that wave 2. I think that's sort of what I can highlight here. Of course, if it fails to break higher, if it fails to get above that 47.6 cents, and that would also only be the very first early indication, then the direct downward path is still preferred here to lower lows. It's just that it hasn't lost the relevant support level that we highlighted in yesterday's video and the week before. Here, this support at 45.6 cents. Yeah, these are the 2 counts at the moment. Yeah, the more imminent downward path, which would be further confirmed if price breaks below 45 cents, or a more bullish but still bearish path. This is valid as long as price doesn't go above 54.1 cents. In other words, against 54.1 cents, the focus could be on lower. But it also would be reasonable, I think, to think about profit taking if anybody really entered a short trade in this area. We also had another area here. So anybody who entered a short here or here, nice profits. I mean, profit taking never hurts. I mean, didn't take long and it came down around about 10%, right, of this area. Yeah, that's my update about XRP. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.